In a world that moves fast and forgets easy, veterans, after they take off their uniforms, coaches, shaping tomorrow's leaders today, volunteers, choosing service over self. Everyone has a story, and most of them exist because they kept trying. These are the stories, so they are not forgotten. My name is Bill Lowe, and this is Semper Try, because trying beats quitting. Welcome to episode 1, Semper Try. So I wanted to launch on a huge day, Marine Corps' birthday, 250 years Marine Corps. Happy birthday, Devil Dogs, to all you that I've served with, and to all that I've met along the way, and to all you other, happy birthday and Semper Fi. So, why the name Semper Try? Well, the Marine Corps motto, Semper Fidelis, meaning always faithful, is kind of where I came from, so Semper Try. So Semper being always try. If you're in the military, if you're everyday life, if you're a volunteer in this community, if you are a coach, if just daily life, try, always try. So Semper Try, because trying beats quitting. So with that, my story is a little bit of, service to humanity with volunteering, picked up coaching this last year, and, being a veteran. So started out with the Marines. We can go to there. Let's start with that story. So it was probably between my junior and senior year. I was working at Taco John's in the mall in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And just normal daily shift. And it was a Saturday, I believe, Sunday, one of the weekend days. And a Marine recruiter came up and ordered some food. And I was working the counter or whatever, got his order, and it was kind of slow. So he was just talking to me. And he's like, "So what are you going to do after high school?" And I'm like, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it yet, or I've thought a lot about it, and I have no clue. I know I don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to follow in my dad's footsteps. I didn't enjoy being a farmer. That's what my younger brother was for. And that's what my younger brother is doing. So I knew that. That's what I knew. I didn't want to be a farmer. So he's like, I was like, well, I'd kind of thought, Sioux Falls has an Air National Guard. And I was like, I was going to join the Air National Guard. Don't really know what I'm going to do. And he goes, well, the Marines have a reserves unit. And I'm like, I did not know that. And he goes, well, when do you get your break? And I'm like, oh, here a little later. He goes, well, why don't you swing by? If not today, swing by one of the days. Come down and talk to me. I'm like, what the heck? Why not? So went down there, talked to him, and showed me some stuff. And I'm just like, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, Marines. And he's like, yep, we have a reserve units down in Omaha, the 1 weekend a month, all that. I was like, okay, I'm very interested. I mean, long run, I signed up, Marine Reserve, heavy duty mechanic like Humvee or something like that. I remember when you took the ASVAB your junior year, never really thought the military was my future, so I didn't really try that hard. But there I was. So went through my whole senior year, the whole time. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm like, well, I have interest in photography. I have an interest in numbers. Maybe I'll be an accountant. Maybe I'll take pictures. Not really sure. So it's coming down to, we're coming into May, coming into graduation, coming into the time I turn 18. Called up the Marine recruiter and I go, I've changed my mind. And he goes, well, this happens. I figured this happens. We hate to see you go. If you ever change your mind or if there's anything we can do, just let us go. And I go, no, changed my mind. I don't want out. I want to go active duty. He goes, well, that opens up a lot more doors. He goes, you need to come in. He goes, let's retake the ASVAB test. I know you said you didn't really try too hard on it. Let's retake it. So went in on a Saturday, I'm sure, one day after school. I don't remember when. Retook the ASVAB and he goes, oh, scores are a lot better. I don't remember what my score was, but it improved a lot from not trying to actually trying. Keep trying. So he goes, well, what do you want to do? And I go, well, I have an interest in mechanics. He goes, how about being a mechanic on an F-18 fighter jet? I go, that sounds awesome. That's what I want to do. Little did I know they can't promise you what your MOS could be. So I went aviation mechanic. Marine Corps has more than one aircraft, but I'm going to be an F-18 mechanic. Wow, this is awesome. So turned 18 May 3rd, graduated high school like May 12th. By May 18th, May 20th, I was in boot camp. I mean, it was bam, bam, thank you, I'm out of here. Went to boot camp. My boot camp story is a little longer than most. I was in boot camp for 7 months. The Marine Corps boot camp is 13 weeks long. I was there for close to 7 months. I graduated in December. I went there in May, so almost 7 months. The reason I was there is I wasn't used to running. I wasn't used to that much physical activity, marching in combat boots. So I started getting shin splints. And both legs started hurting bad. Got dropped from my platoon and put on medical rehabilitation platoon. Was there for a while, recovered, did my 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it took to recover, and went back to the platoon on like training day 7 and kept going again. It wasn't even long, 2 weeks, training day 18, something like that. My feet started to hurt really bad. Hurt when I'd pivot, hurt when I walked. I was trying to suck it up, trying not to show it, doing everything I could. And it started to show, and they made me go to medical, and stress fractures in my feet from all the running again, all the marching in combat boots. So it took me out for another 6 to 8 weeks there for those to heal. I mean, there was times where I thought I would never walk again without being pain in my feet, but I kept trying, I kept working out, I kept going. I did all the classes that you had to do from training day 18 to training day 35. So like swim qual and bunch of classes and just different requirements. I got all those requirements done while I was in medical rehabilitation platoon. So I got picked back up on training day 35 with another platoon heading to Camp Pendleton. Went up there, did everything we needed to do. It's up there for, I think it's 14 days where you do all your outdoor stuff, your rifle qual, all that stuff. Made it back. You get the last day of the crucible, you become a Marine. You get finally handed that EGA, and you're finally a Marine for the first time. And you go from talking, this recruit, aye, sir, yes, sir, drill instructor, sir, that stuff. And all of a sudden it was this Marine or Marine Lowe or PFC Lowe or whatever it was. And then they became sergeants and staff sergeants, and it was amazing. So parents came down, my uncle came down to graduation down in San Diego. Hadn't seen him in a long time, the letters, a few phone calls here and there. It was awesome. I mean, greatly appreciated that. It was the first and last time that I ran 5 miles. They called it on graduation day a motivational 5-mile formation run. Sorry, running is not very motivational to me, and don't know why fun and run go together. Those two words probably shouldn't go together. But for some people they do, not I. Even after that, every time we'd do a physical fitness test, I had to run 3 miles. I never ran the 3 miles straight. I would start out, I'd push pretty hard, I'd run the first mile and a half, I'd hit the mile and a half point, and I always thought, if I could hit it before 12 minutes and turn around, I was doing good. So I'd always get there about 10 and a half to 11 minutes, and I'd turn around and I'd walk. And remember the one time they had the course marked out in quarter-mile sections. So I was like, well, if I walk to 1.37 or 1.75 miles, and I'm there by 12 minutes, I'm doing good. So when the 12-minute mark on my watch would hit, I'd take off running again, get to the mile and a half, or the 2-mile mark. And as long as I was there by 14 minutes, I'd walk until 14 minutes and I'd run again. And I did this. And so then I'd finish the 3 miles in 24. A perfect time was 18, and you had to beat 27. So I averaged that 23 to 24 and a half, which was great and good enough. Yeah, I kept trying, but I hated running, so I wasn't trying any harder than that, but I tried enough to pass, I guess. So after that, after boot camp, you come home, you get to be home for, I think it was like 30 days. You get an extra week or two, you get to go back to the recruiter's office and say you're helping recruit and, you're a brand new Marine. So talk to some people that coming in from high school, stuff like that. They let you have it pretty easy. You didn't do much. So it was kind of like an extra 2 weeks of leave. Went back down to San Diego. You go to Camp Pendleton and you do all your basic rifleman training. Every Marine's a rifleman. So you learn all your marksmanship and all that stuff. And I think that was like 17-day course. Then you wait after that, your A school. Mine was aviation. So a little bit of time in San Diego down there before, I think it was Cecil. No, it was, I don't remember exactly where it was, but get sent over to NAS Pensacola Naval Air Station. It's where the Blue Angels, love the Blue Angels. The Blue Angels are stationed there. So I did my A school there, probably 6 weeks, learned basic aviation, all that stuff. And then after you graduate this, you go with all the Marines, all the Navy, everybody that's working on aircraft. All their schools are down there. Search and rescue schools are down there for aviation. I just kicked the camera. So all your schools are down there. And after the 6 weeks is when you get to see what you got selected for. And at that, there's Marines have C-130s, they had Cobras, they had CH-53s, they had CH-46s, they had F-18s. At that time, they still had the Prowlers. They hadn't quite gotten into the Osprey yet. And I remember I got selected for F-18s, secondary power systems, just what I wanted. I don't know how it worked out, wasn't guaranteed. So the next station was NAS Jacksonville, across the state of Florida. And I had my car down there, so I drove across to NAS Cecil Field, I think it was, in Jacksonville, and did my C school there, where you got to learn secondary power systems, so working on the engine and the hydraulic and all that stuff, secondary power, the APU, which is what starts the jet, and fuel systems and tire and wheels. So multitasking, I guess. So I don't remember. I think that school was 6-8 weeks long. I think in my class I was one or two of Marines. The rest were sailors. Great group of guys. Fun. So that after that, what's your dream? Where you want to stay stationed? Choices were East Coast, West Coast, or overseas. Put those in order. So I selected West Coast, East Coast, overseas. Number 3 pick, overseas. So the Marine Corps had an F-18 unit that stationed permanently over in Iwakuni, Japan. So I got sent to VMFA 212 over in Iwakuni. I think this was like August of 98. I get there, the squadron is down in Australia. So I was there for about 2-3 weeks with a few people that were on back crew or whatever, just stayed back. And so it was a terrible 3 weeks. It was just doing nothing, cleaning, just busy work around the hangar, stuff like that, learning nothing. Squadron finally gets back. You're forwardly deployed, and that's for a year. So going on my year, they put out, I think it was either $2,000 up bonus or 30 days of leave or 15 days and a plane ticket back home if you'd sign up for another year to stay with the squadron. So I was like, oh, I'll take the 30 days extra leave. So I took the 30 days extra leave. Want to go back home. Plane ticket go home was expensive. I hadn't really taken any leaves, so I mean, you get about 30 days a year anyways. And so then I changed it. I'm like, can I get changed to plane ticket in 15 days? So got it changed to a plane ticket in 15 days. Perfect. So I stayed for the second year. I was in Iwakuni, Japan for 21 months straight. Finally took my plane ticket in 30 days, went home for 30 days, hung out, flew back to Iwakuni, and I had 3 months left, 2.5, whatever it was, months left there with the squadron. And then I flew back home, took another 30 days, and then got stationed down in San Diego. I got moved to VMFA 134, which was a Marine Corps Reserve Unit, F-18s. So the reserve unit was made up about 25% active duty people. And us active duty people kept the squadron going during the week or the rest of the month when the reservists weren't there, because the pilots were reservists too, but they'd come in at all different times of the month and fly and train. And then the one weekend a month or whatever, they would all be there. And so we kept the squadron going on a skeleton crew. So I did my final year and a half in the Marine Corps there. I was in the Marine Corps during 9/11. I remember that night I was on night crew, so we'd go in about 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you'd work all night until the aircraft were fixed. So, I mean, boy, do I have stories of late nights working on the F-18, but I remember that night, it was pretty late. Got home about the San Diego time, 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and was trying to go to bed. And a little bit later, my phone's ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. My phone's ringing and ringing. Finally, I'm like, what the heck? It had rang like 100 times. So I picked it up, and it was one of my fellow Marines, and he's like, the trade towers have collapsed. You need to come to work right now. Half asleep, only been asleep for half an hour, 45 minutes, was tired. No clue what he said. And finally, he convinced me to stay awake, get dressed, come back to the squadron. So I get back to the squadron, and nobody knows what's going on. And this was all day. So I'm going on 15 minutes sleep all day, standing around, sitting around. Nobody knows what's going on. And comes down to there's about 6 or 10 of us Marines that our rifle qual was up to date. So we got issued rifles, and we got put on flight line guard duty to guard the F-18s 24 hours a day. And, we had to ID every single person. We had to just question everything. In this, we were questioning people we knew who they were, and they had to show their ID, and they had, it was a crazy time. So, and then I remember, everything going on, being on TV, just like the rest of us, thinking that that's all we're ever going to see on TV for the rest of our life. We're not going to see anything else. It's just crazy. How could this happen? Well, that happened in September, and I remember when one of the squadrons off the base was getting deployed to Afghanistan. And one of my friends was in that squadron, and I remember going to our XOCO and requesting to go with that squadron to Afghanistan. And it got denied because VMFA 134, the reserve unit, was getting designated Homeland Security. And with us being a reserve unit and only having 25% active duty, we were limited on personnel and couldn't spare anyone to go with. So didn't get to go there. A little bit later in March, I think right before I was going to get out, I got out in May. We went over to Yuma, and they took like one aircraft from every single squadron in the Marine Corps. They took like 3 people from every squadron in the Marine Corps and made a training unit over there. And they were hardcore training the pilots on tactics and different things for going into Afghanistan and throwing bombs into caves and just different training. Well, got out in May. My 5 years was up, and it was June, I think, when they put freeze on people getting out, and you couldn't get out of the Marines anymore or any of the active duty services. I don't remember how long that lasts. I'd been in 5 years. I was homesick. I do look back today and like, should I have stayed? I'd have been 38 a long time ago. I'm 45 now. He would have retired, but too late now to question all that stuff. Would have totally been a different life, obviously, staying in. Very proud of the 5 years I did. So that's a little bit of my Marine story. As we go on, I want to talk to other veterans. I want to talk to other people in this community. I want to talk to coaches. So moving on to that, let's move on to the coaching. Did I ever think I'd be a high school coach? No. Unless there was a competition in eye rolling, boy, I could coach that. But so my oldest son, 15 years old, he wanted to do clay target shooting. I'm like, awesome. That's awesome. Let's do it. So we go to the meeting, talking, what we need to do, getting everything signed up. And they're like, we're looking for a little bit of help with scoring and coaches if anybody's interested. So kind of heed and hawed. And I'm like, this actually sounds fun. So went up to Coach Brent and said, yep, I'd like to volunteer to help. And so he goes, perfect, sign right here, do this. And got signed up to help coach. First, I was learning how the scoring worked and all the other stuff, and enjoyed it. Enjoyed the heck out of it. As soon as we get out there, I was asking questions. I'm like, oh, I love youth sports. I love that every single kid got the exact same opportunity to do the best they could do. They got all the same practice time. They got all the same amount of playing time. I mean, every single week, every kid. Nobody got put on the bench. There was no coach's favorites. You know, the kids could buckle down and do as good as they want. If they had a bad day, if they had a bad round, we could talk to them, could help them point out what we see, try different things, and they could come back and shoot the best round ever or do the same next week. I mean, seeing some of these kids that have been doing it for a couple of years, how just amazing they are and how good they are. And like you're just watching them. They don't need the coaching. They just sometimes need a gentle reminder. And the younger kids, the ones that have never really shot that much before, and how fast they improved. I mean, wow, never thought be a high school coach. So being a coach or one of the coaches for the Brainerd Warrior High School clay target team, love it. I'm hoping to get on some of the other coaches on here, talk to them. Let's talk to some coaches from some other sports because there's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of coaches that put in a lot of time. I mean, we're shaping the leaders of tomorrow. Today, we're doing that. And hopefully it's something these kids will remember forever. So I moved to Brainerd in 2006. So let's go to the community service side of this. Moved to Brainerd in 2006. Got a job at the local beer distributor. And one of the managers there was like, oh, you should join the Brainerd JCs. You'll get to meet some people of the community, all this other stuff. Didn't really know what the JCs were. Yeah, talk to me every month. Kind of say this, kind of say this. Finally, he got me to go to Brainerd JC Ice Fishing Extravaganza meeting with him. And largest charitable ice fishing organization, fundraiser in the world. I mean, huge. And I'm sitting there listening to these people talk like, this is over my head. No way. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. One, I hate cold. Two, I don't like fishing. Wow, why am I in Minnesota? I don't like cold. I don't like fishing. Great question. I ask that every winter. I asked that today. It was 27 degrees. Why am I in Minnesota? The only reason I can tell you is I have two kids. They're here in Minnesota. I guess I'm going to be here for them. Retirement probably won't be in Minnesota. Hopefully, maybe. So maybe they'll move somewhere warm and I can follow them. Maybe I'll just move somewhere warm with the wife and we'll retire. Don't know. But anyways, finally go to an event of the JCs. I think it was Street Fest. Don't remember the year. And worked for Budweiser, so we brought the beer down, brought the beer trailer, and they're like, "Oh, park it over here." And I'm like, I don't know, second nature to me, beer sales, all that stuff at that time. It's like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you put it over here? Why are you charging this? And I'm just asking questions. Within a week, I was the beer director for the Brainerd JCs. Oh, great. Now I'm into it. Here we go. So they did quite a few beer pouring events. So took those over, nationals, different ones, changed things. The older JCs didn't like the change. Some of the younger ones were more open and welcome to it. Boy, was I lucky that the changes I made worked out. We made more money. We sold more beer. We were doing good for the community. That's what the JCs are here for. I mean, I recommend everybody join the Brainerd JCs, join a JC organization. It's a great youth development. I mean, where else do you get a chance to lead, to do something with the chance to fail? And you get that chance to fail and it doesn't. There's other people that will help you pick it right back up and make it successful. So if you can join a JC unit, I love that. So then Gabe Johnson, dropping names here, Gabe, talks to me and goes, you should run for president. I don't know if this was a year or two later. Goes, you should run for president. I'm like, I should run for president? No. I'm beer director. Nope. He goes, people will vote for you. He goes, you could do it. I think you'd be good at this. You should run for president. So ran for president, ran against, her name was Dawn. Kind of fun. We made it fun and, ran for president, got the votes, probably one vote, decided that. Probably 30 people voted. Who knows? I mean, there was a couple hundred people in the JCs, 30 of them, 40 of them show up for the meeting. Don't know. I still don't know if I won by one vote or if I won by three or anyways. Won the president. So we're coming into the year, already on the board as the beer director, and was sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, I have this passion for youth sports. I wish, more kids got the opportunity to play. Why are youth sports so expensive? So sitting there, I know it was Gabe. I know there's a few other JCs. I don't want to start mentioning names because if I forget somebody, there was a lot of people that put a lot of thought and a lot of time into this. I know it was coming on December time, and I'm like, what if we did a rubber duck race on the Mississippi River? We adopt out these ducks for $5 and give away cash prizes. I mean, I don't know if I said this at the time, but like, we can give away $2,500. A couple of the cash prizes, the rest of proceeds could go to youth sports. So we started looking into it, came up, I think it started out as a joke. Big Bill's Little Rubber Ducky Race. So my nickname is Big Bill, big duck bills, big dollar bills, multi-meetings. Like I said, I think it started out as a joke. Well, it stuck. And that was the name of the rubber duck race for first many years. And so we started planning this in January. By Easter of April, it was still cold. The river was open. We were already running this race on the river. We had no clue how we were going to catch those ducks, but we dumped them over the bridge out of a payloader. And every option we had boats in the river. There's going to be stories if we talk to some people say they might have died. But as I said, did you die? No. Almost, maybe. It'll be a good story later. So, did that duck race. Very successful. I think the duck race is still going on. The junior JCs have now taken over the duck race and are running it. And it's so amazing to see these high school kids and younger run this event. Still work with youth sports in the Brainerd area. They are working with way more youth sports teams than I ever worked with, or the group that helped me. So it's great. Going on almost 15 years. So let's go back to 2010. President of the Brainerd JCs. What else? Beer director. I don't recommend doing two big things like that in 1 year. Oh, let's start an event. So I was the Ducky Chair. Okay, there's 3 big events. Well, that's 3 big events. Volunteer, plus working full time. Let's add one more thing. Don't recommend this. Let's have your firstborn kid, born January 2nd of 2010. So now, brand new father, baby in the household, running the JCs, running beer sales, brand new event, working full time at Budweiser. Don't know what I was thinking, but I am pretty sure that my years as a Marine got me through it just fine. So yeah, Do not recommend it. Don't take on 4 big things like that. Limit it to 1 or 2 a year. Spread it out, but keep trying. So there we have it. Veteran, want to talk to veterans. Community volunteers, want to talk to them, want to talk to these people, these nonprofits, the ones that are putting their service over self. Coaches, these youth sports, still to this day. I'm a board member at the Brainerd American Legion. I'm also the gambling manager there. So I work with other youth groups. I work with other nonprofits and helping them raise funds. That's kind of what I do today to keep trying, is helping these other organizations keep doing. They do so much good in this community. There's so many people that are doing good. There's so many people I want to talk to. I know I have lined up with Wayne Harding. We're going to bring on episode 2 with Wayne. I think he was National Guard. They tell me that that's like an actual military service. So if that's the case, we'll talk to him, because then he's a veteran. And he's the commander of the Brainerd American Legion right now. So we'll talk to him. Met and talked with the commander of the VFW a little bit the other day. He's like, I have stories. I'm like, great. So we're going to get him on here soon. I'm looking to just once a week, hopefully we can record an episode. We can, talk and hear some of these stories. Maybe some more stories of a few things I did, being overseas and, being in the Marines. Those will come up and we can talk about those too. One of the interviews I want to get on soon is Jennifer Lowe, my wife. The amazing, beautiful, under contract to say all those things on here. So the amazing, beautiful wife. She is the president of Smiles for Jake. She's also the CRMC Charitable Foundation director. So she's taken on a lot. She's got some things, but they have a co-op event coming up here in December called Cayuna's Christmas. So I want to talk to her, what keeps her driven to volunteer, what, raise funds for these cancer patients, and, her commitment to suicide awareness and Smiles for Jake. And she helps at the Legion, and she helps with all these fundraising events that we do there. And what keeps her going, all these volunteer jobs where the only pay is the forgotten thank you. I mean, people might not thank you for the volunteering you're doing, but just remember someone is very proud of you. Someone thinks, yeah, that's awesome. They just don't always vocalize it. So, and sometime we'll have to get the boys on here, Zach and Cole. They are definitely going to be my executive producers. They're definitely my technical support on all this. Don't really have a studio, so recording here at home. We're going to record, I think, a lot more at different locations, and we're going to keep going like that. I have set up Simplify podcast at Gmail. So if you're hearing this and you want to reach out and you have a question, or if you are someone that thinks you have a great story and I need to hear it, I want to hear it, reach out to me. Suggestions, ideas, let's hear it. Let's talk about it. Let's have fun. I appreciate you being here. I had notes, lots of notes for this episode, and I thought I had a little script for episode 1, and here we go. I'm just winging it, and I know I'm going to go back and read my notes and go, oh, why didn't I talk about this? Oh, why didn't I say this? We'll talk about it in the future sometime. So I appreciate everybody that has stuck around this far and listened this long. Hopefully I'm not too boring. Hopefully we can have a little more fun. I just wanted to get you a slight little background on this. This is like a little passion of mine. I'm like, keep trying. It beats quitting. This is an everyday motto. This is, what you should take on in life. I heard one time guys say, he goes, if you're going to quit tomorrow. And then when you made it through today. And then when you get tomorrow, quit tomorrow. Keep trying. you'll never quit. You'll always make it. Just take it one day at a time. Embrace the suck, I guess, is, what they say in the military. There's going to be a lot of military terms we can talk to. There's a lot of people out there. Not every veteran's story will make a movie or be in a book, but there's a lot of little stories out there that we don't want to be forgotten. You know, you think about it, we're almost out of World War II veterans. Think if we could have went back and we could have talked to World War I veterans and we could have talked to the veterans before that, you know, and how many World War II veterans we could talk to. And if we can find them, I can talk to them. You know, it's far and few between. So we got to get these Korean War vets if we can find them, and the veterans of Vietnam and everything to this day, the ones that served in war, the ones that were part of our military readiness and never left the United States, or the ones that, whatever, everybody played a part. So I don't want to ramble here too much. Probably do. You probably just don't want to listen to it. So, you know, community, service, coaching, veterans, Semper Try. So that's my new saying, Semper Try, because trying beats quitting. And thank you so much. Tell your friends, follow the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. And that was episode 1. And episode 2, we will interview Wayne Harding, commander of the Brainerd American Legion. Thanks again and have a great day.